All right. We're at the second week, the end of the second week of doing my YouTube channel. And I got to tell you, at the beginning of the second week, I was like, not kind of digging on this a whole lot. But at the end of the second week, this is kind of fun. Kind of coming together. Thank you for supporting me, by the way. And thank you for making the comments and sending people over this way. We're doing it because about 30% of podcast listens now take place on YouTube. And we're just missing those people. And so I want to participate in helping them in some way. And so I needed to make sure we got on YouTube so they could find me. Make sure if you haven't done that, go ahead and subscribe. Yeah, obviously. But then run over to iTunes or Spotify or Google Podcasts, wherever you listen, and follow the podcast too, because that way automatically at 12:01 a.m., the audio version fires down to your phone. It works really well. Today's going to be a great show because this is, I'm going to have to read a little bit on today's show, so pardon me if I look off camera a little bit, because I want to talk about making your own motivation. It's something we all have to do. And I'll give you a really deep way of doing it today and tell you exactly where it comes from. It'll be a good show. Hang on.
In 3, 2.
Happy Friday. 7 happy Fridays. You know, we're getting comments now. Always have, but now on the YouTube channel, people are sending me notes. Happy Friday, Scott, on a Friday. And they're giving me 7 happies. It's so cool. And I'll give them right back to you, so hang on for the ride. So today, making your own motivation, because people come to me and I go to others to get motivated, get inspired, have somebody give me a different idea about how things work. And we all do it, but we also, at the end of the day, have to make our own motivation. We have to know where it comes from to be able to get what you want, because you're inside your own head 24/7. You can't have somebody else there all the time, right? So that's today's show. It is the Daily Boost from motivationtomove.com, the positive boost you need every single day, because life begins when you move, there's no doubt, but then screeching halt, boom! Life gets in the way. It's like, what happened? I don't know what happened. I was doing so well, and then suddenly that happened. That guy did this, that guy did that. Oh my God, what am I going to do? What would Scott do? WWSD. I need a bracelet, right? Scott would stand up, take a step, repeat. He'll keep going until he gets what he wants. Will he like doing it? Hell no, I will not like doing it. Are you kidding me? Do we like doing the things that we want to do to get the things we say we... Isn't that weird? This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. But to get me to go do it, it's like, what? It's really hard. That's why the show is here. Because every single day for the rest of my life, you and me and everybody else are going to get out of bed and we're going to drag all of us, kicking and screaming to get what you want. Deal? All right. Hi, my name is Scott Smith, founder, chief motivating officer here at motivationtomove.com. Happy to have you here today. So let's get into making this own motivation thing. As a child, man, God help my parents for having to deal with me. Because I couldn't always have my way, and mom and dad were so mean to me. And even when I think of it, they weren't. I had a great childhood. I had to think back on my childhood and all the things they did. We did everything. It's camping and vacations and swimming and activities and Boy Scouts and all that. So we did it all, and they were always there for us. So it was cool. But they were so mean to me. Even before I was a teenager, they were mean to me. I couldn't wait to grow up and move out of the house because I was going to be an adult. I was going to get other experience being an adult. I could not wait. In fact, so much I couldn't wait that I one day decided to leave the house and gave them about an hour and a half's notice. Jumped on my motorcycle and I head off for my new life, my new career. Everything is going to be different. A 20-hour motorcycle ride from Manassas, Virginia to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and boom, I'm in my new life. Yeah. It wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I did it. It's where I was in the moment, right? I stepped in that adult world. I began to go out there and change. I began to do things that I wanted to be doing. I was going to school. I was fighting my way through it. And I realized all these people are mean. Everything is mean. I mean, it's like mom and dads are all over the world. It wasn't just my parents that were evil. It was everybody. Life was getting in my way. It was turning me down. What was even worse? I was getting my own freaking way. I was young. Yeah, I was 18, 19 years old, but I kept getting my own freaking way for 40 years after that. 40, let me think about this. Nope, not that long. Maybe 20. Okay. I don't know how old I am. Don't want to know. Don't tell me. Don't remind me. So I've joked over the years that I'm the boss of me. You're the boss of you. So why don't you do what you say you want to do? Someday I'm going to do this. When's someday going to happen? Why don't you do it? It should happen today. Eventually, I realized that having big-ass goal, being on a mission, was what drove me. And I have to tell you, this is what gets you in the driven. If you haven't done this before, if you're seeking for it, you may be looking for it. But the truth is, when you finally get that big ass goal, that big ass mission you're on, man, motivation comes on demand. You can't stop people. And you see it all the time. In fact, I mentioned this, I think last week or so, that I look for that identified motivation. I look for that thing that's going to fire me up. That's a goal. That's a mission. That's something that makes me get so excited I can't stop myself. I look for that first because I know that's who I am. I'm not an intrinsically motivated guy that goes, okay, Scott, you can do it. Let's go. I'm not. I'm like, no, I got to find that thing that's going to fire me up. The problem is lots of times it's a motorcycle or it's a motorhome or it's a new house. And I've learned to control that thing. Trust me, if I want it, I'm going to get it. What gets you so fired up? Motivation is powerful, if not fleeting, because it is, but it's a tool that we need, right? We need to understand how we generate that in our mind. So hang on for the ride. Here we go. First and foremost, step number one in motivation is your physiology. It dictates your feelings. The reason we call our company Motivation to Move is because I understood it very early on that I had to move your body. If I could get you moving, it was so much easier to do everything else. A lot of folks want to sit down and read a book or type on their computer or do a journal. That's cool. That's cool. It's not nearly as powerful as combining the physical activity. Physiology changes everything. So let's stand up and do stuff, okay? The easiest way for you to break out of a slump is to stand up, take a step, and repeat. It's not just a saying that I made up a long time ago. It's true. Stand up, get off your ass, stand up, and do something. I know you've heard this before, but it's the easiest way to break out of whatever funk you're in. As you know around here, I just take, if you're feeling in a funk, I say, well, let's get funky. Put on some black cherry or something. Is it bad? Black cherry? 70s band? It's been a long time. Movement wakes your body up. It guides your emotions. It makes you feel like anything is possible. Even if you're thinking, I hope this works out. Movement will get you over that every single time. So physiology. So move today. We talk about that all the time. Number two, focus fuels your fire. If you're feeling unmotivated, you're also drifting in the wind with no direction, probably. We don't want you drifting. Shifting your thoughts in a positive direction and toward something that excites you will break you out of that and get you moving. Now, this is where I talked about a little bit earlier, is having that big-ass goal, that big-ass mission you want to be on, that focus, that thing you want to do. You are going to get what you focus on. And if you're continually running around saying, hey, Scott, I'm just kind of drifting. Well, you're focused on that. If I had you on the call, on a coaching call, and we're going to do some of those coming up, some group calls here very soon. If I had you on a call and you came back on the second call, you talked to me last week, then you got on this week and you said the same thing again, I would stop you in your tracks. And if you came back the third week, I'd fire you. You're drifting. You're not ready to get stuff done. So focus fuels your fire. If your focus is all over the place, you're not going to get what you want. But Scott, I'm so distracted. I'm so distracted. Well, guess what? Distraction is focus. It's just focus in the place you don't want it to be. That's all. Scott logic. It's common sense. Pay attention. All right. Number three, as we used to say back in the radio days, number three with a bullet. You young kids don't know what that is. Number three with a bullet. What's a bullet? Is it on iTunes or something? I can't say bullet, can you? Number three, the words you say create emotions that you feel. So not only is your physiology driving you into action and then you understanding that focus fuels your fire, the words you say, the negative self-talk will drag you down and everybody else around you will be dragged down too. When you say words that don't powerfully motivate you internally and externally, if they're not uplifting to you, everything in your world stays the same or gets worse. Words matter more than you think. When you flip it upside down and you just stop yourself in your tracks and make sure that the words you say to yourself are nice, they're kind, they're uplifting, they're positive, they're hopeful. They're not grumbly or grumpy. You can be grumbly. When I turned 60 years old, I said, listen, you have a choice when you deal with me, and I have the choice to deal with you. I will be a grumpy old man or I'll be a happy old man. Which one do you want today? And usually I'm the happy old man. I'm not old, I'm getting older. Words matter. Come here a second. Let me explain something here. I call it negative self-talk. And one of my jobs as a coach, when I'm working with somebody, is to listen to them talking backwards in time, talking negative about themselves, talking about all the stuff that didn't work, don't like, and stop them. I use pattern interrupts. I shift their direction and move them in a new, more positive direction. I stop them in their tracks, That's my job. That's what I do. And after, it doesn't take long, 3 or 4 times. And they say to me, you're stopping me, aren't you? I said, yeah, I'm stopping you from talking bad about yourself. How are you going to get what you want if you talk bad about yourself? I'm like, yeah, good point. Done. We fixed the problem. It's crazy. So making your own motivation. If you do nothing at all today other than standing up, taking a step, and repeating, you will be well on your way to getting exactly what you want, if that's all you did. If you stood up, you took a step, and you focused on exactly what you wanted instead of the stuff that you don't want, which you very likely are focusing on right now, you'll find that that step will get you closer to the life that you want. And finally, if you keep those words positive and upbeat and uplifting for yourself, and if you really take the advanced expert level and be that way for people around you as well, you change your life. And by the way, I understand life is difficult. I understand some people need to be talked to kind of strongly, right? I get it. I live and breathe in the world we're in today. It's difficult to do. I'm just saying, if you can do it, you'll change your life. You're human. Your brain isn't wired to stay motivated all the time, but it is wired to respond to these things we talked about today. Pretty cool stuff. All right. We're going to take a weekend off. We'll come back. Somebody asked about a weekend show that we are not doing anymore. I stopped doing it to kind of get things aligned more with the Daily Boost. Something is coming for you. We had to get this channel launched first, and then we'll do that. In the meantime, go buy my book. Go to dailygratitudeboost.com. Get the 5-minute gratitude journal for men. It's awesome. The women, I'm getting all kinds of ladies sending me notes saying how they love it. You can do it too. And be sure to subscribe wherever you do. It's iTunes, Apple, YouTube. It doesn't matter. Subscribe so you get the show every single day at 12:01 a.m. Have a good weekend. I'll see you Monday.